Hi YouTube parents and carers, welcome to our next video supporting you with strategies for subtraction. So the Maths National Curriculum statements are the same as those in the addition video, but this time we're going to be using the same concepts but using subtraction. So in the curriculum, pupils should be taught to solve problems with addition and subtraction. They should be taught to use concrete objects and pictorial representations for subtraction, increasing their knowledge of mental and written methods. Children should be able to subtract numbers using two-digit numbers and subtracting the ones, using two two-digit numbers, subtracting them away from each other. And children should understand that subtraction cannot be done in any order. So the largest number starts at the beginning and then you take away numbers from that and the end answer becomes smaller. The two blue statements that I've highlighted here, I will cover in a separate video all about number facts and another separate video all about inverse and solving problems. So again, with the CPA approach, we use this with subtraction too. So we start off using concrete, physical objects. We then look to use pictures to help us solve problems and work out and take away. And then we look at abstract, so we use number sentences and more mental methods. Concrete objects then with subtraction, you can see in the picture here that there are pieces of Lego that are being taken away to show number sentences. So these are physically being moved around. We can do this with Lego, cubes. You could do this at home with pasta pieces. So you could get out 10 pasta pieces and take away 5. So it's all about understanding that we start off with a bigger number when we subtract and that the final number or the answer of objects that we are left with is smaller because we have taken away. So that moving around and taking away of objects by taking them with our hands helps us to see with our eyes really visually how the numbers change and how the group of objects gets smaller. We then look at subtraction with pictures. So we might have some pictures to cross out to help us work out our number sentences. So you can see here the ducks. There are 4 ducks. 2 of them have been crossed out. 2 have been taken away. So the answer is 2. Again with the pictures on the right hand side. 6 butterflies take away 4. So we would cross out 4 and we are left with 2 butterflies. 3 take away 1 footballs, so we are left with, we cross out 1 and we are left with 2 footballs. The flowers here, there are 5 flowers and we want to take away 3, so we are left with 2. The aliens, there are 7 aliens and we want to take away 2, and now we are left with 5. The gloves here, there are 8 gloves and we want to take away 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're left with 2. And last of all, the party hats. There are 5 party hats, but we're not going to take away anything, so we are still left with 5. It's really important to use 0 as well, because that shows that we're not adding or taking away anything and that the number stays the same. So again here with our pictures, I have got 6 apples here and I want to take away 4 of them. So I'm going to cross out 4 apples and I'm left with 2 apples. So now I'm seeing from my pictures, I'm crossing them out, I'm taking them away, and my answer, my number once I've subtracted, is smaller, it's less. I can use my part whole still again here for subtraction. So my whole or my largest number always goes on its own and the 2 parts go separately. So you can see here that I could do 6 take away 2 equals 4. Or I can do 6 take away 4 equals 2. So my part whole really helps to show the different numbers in a number family as well. I have 5 pieces of chocolate here, and I want to take away 3. So I cross out 3 and I'm left with 2. Again, I can show this in my part whole. 3 add 2 makes 5, but also when I subtract, 5 take away 3 equals 2. And 5 take away 2 equals 3. Once the children have really grasped the concept of using objects and using pictures and understanding how to subtract and how to write these number sentences on their own, and they understand that the answer gets smaller, we can then look to using a number line to help us with our subtraction. So instead of counting on or counting up like we did in our addition video, we would count backwards so that we know the number gets smaller. And here we always make sure that we're starting on the biggest number, because remember, subtraction cannot be done in any order. It starts with the biggest number and we take away from it. So the first one then, 17 take away 5. Similar to our number line jumping in our first video, we must make sure that we only start counting once we've done our first jump. So I'm taking away 5, so I'm going to do 5 jumps backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that leaves me on 12. The next one, 20, take away 9. I start with my biggest number. I start on 20 and I'm going to do 9 jumps backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That leaves me on 11. The next one, 12, take away 7. I start on my greatest number 12 and I jump back 7 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've landed on 5. And the last one, 19, take away 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that leaves me on 9. So I'm really looking at, when we are using the number lines, on using the language of counting back, getting smaller, taking away, going backwards. So the children know the differences already between adding and subtracting. We can use more mental methods, so we can use our fingers. So for example, if I have 10, take away 5, I can get my 10 fingers up and I can put away 5 of them, and I can see in front of me I have 5 fingers left. So this is really useful for using your subtraction with numbers below 10. Using our fingers is a really great tool because we've always got them with us, so we can do it at any time. We can then look at subtracting even more mentally now by using other numbers above 10 to subtract. So I can lock my number 16 in my head. I can get up 4 fingers and I can count backwards, just like I did on the number line, but this time using my fingers, backwards from 16 until I've put away my 4 fingers. So 16 in my head, 15, 14, 13, 12. And I would put each finger down as I count backwards. So 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Fourteen take away 3. I would lock 14 in my head. I would get up my 3 fingers and I'm going to count backwards from 14, putting down my fingers using the next number. So 14, 13, 12, 11. Again, lock 14 in my head. 14, 13, 12, 11. So I only start putting my fingers down as I say the next number that comes before the number I start with. With each of these methods, again like the addition video, we would look at word problems so that we're really consolidating each of our methods and we're able to solve word problems relating to these methods too. And then as year 2 goes by, the word problems can become more complex, have more difficult numbers, such as those above 10, above 20, using those within 100, and then later on using column method to do with our word problem. So this is a simple word problem, just as an example. There are 10 birds in a tree, but 3 fly away. How many birds are left in the tree? So I'm going to highlight any numbers I read and any key vocabulary that shows me that I am subtracting. So flying away is the same as taking away. They're gone, they're not there anymore. So I know the number's going to be less. I know I'm subtracting. How many birds are left in the tree? So I know that there are going to be less birds in the tree. So 10 take away 3 equals, and I can use any one of my previous strategies that we've gone through to help me work this out at whatever stage I'm at in my subtracting. So I'm going to get my 10 in my head and I'm going to get my 3 fingers up. 10 take away 3. 10, 9, 8, 7. Looking at the 2-digit number with the 1-digit number and the different types of digit numbers that we'd be looking at working out and knowing how to do in year 2, we would be looking at being able to take a 1-digit number such as 2 away from a 2-digit number such as 14. We would be looking at taking away 10 from a 2-digit number, where we know that only the tens column would actually change and the ones column would stay the same because I'm doing nothing with the 0. And then we would also look at subtracting 2 2-digit numbers away from each other. Let's have a look then at subtracting with 2 2-digit numbers. Here are my 10s and 1s. 46 take away 22. This is a simple column method for subtraction. I start with my smallest unit, so my 1s. 6 take away 2, I know is 4. And 4 take away 2, I know is 2. So my answer is 24. As we become more able with our subtraction and our column method, we would then look at subtraction with exchanging. And this is where the 1s from the first number are smaller than the 1s in the number that would go underneath. So we need to exchange and get our numbers ready first. 45 take away 29. you can see here in my ones column, I'm not going to be able to do 5 take away 9. So I need to do some exchanging. And what I do is I add 10 here. So this number in my ones column becomes the number 15. But I took that 10 from the tens column. So imagine that that 4 really stands for 40 in the tens column. So if I took 10 away, then I'm actually left with 30. So I show that with 1 less in the tens column. Now I have done my exchanging, I'm ready to subtract. So from my ones, 15 take away 9, I know is 6. And then 3 take away 2 is 1. So I'm exchanging, I have to set up my tens and my ones in the top number to make sure that I have enough to take away the greater number from my ones. This is something that we would look to do towards the end of year 2. Again, with our subtraction and with our addition, we're always looking at fact families. So we're always looking to show the opposites with our numbers and how they relate to one another, because that really helps us to remember and to recall number facts. So in the previous video we had 6 and 5, or 5 and 6 make 11, but we also know then that 11 take away 6 is 5, or 11 take away 5 is 6. So I know that I can swap around these two numbers, but I have to make sure that my answer, my greatest number, is at the beginning, because we must have our greatest number at the start for subtraction. This shows the same here. 5 and 3 makes 8, 3 and 5 makes 8. So when I subtract, 8 is the number that I always begin with, and I can swap over these two numbers, that doesn't matter. And the same again with the last example. My answer from my previous addition was 18. I need to start with 18 when I'm subtracting, but I can always swap over these two numbers. So we're always looking for ways that numbers relate to each other and interact with each other in terms of addition and subtraction, so that we know that we can swap around numbers to create number families. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you have any questions, please do email Mrs. Foreman or I, and we can get back to you and help you with more support. Thank you.